and welcome to Brand X Reviews. This one I'm going to be doing a review of the Star Wars trilogy, the original versions on VHS, which you can't actually get on DVD because the only ones you can get nowadays are the special edition recut ones, which is a real shame. But we did a review back in November at brandxreviews.com, just kind of talking about like the different versions, but we didn't really touch upon these because I didn't own them at the time. So I got these at a car boot sale, but I'm going to get into all that anyway and put into context what the differences are and just kind of cover what we missed in those earlier reviews. So anyway, enjoy.
Okay, so I recently picked up these videos at a car boot sale, and I thought I'd do this video as an addendum to the 6-part series of videos that I did back with the core back in November 2013 on the Star Wars Blu-ray box set.
I'm afraid we're going to be reviewing the 2011 Blu-ray release of the complete saga, so I'm afraid we'll be watching the prequels as well.
Oh,
Now, as most Star Wars fans will be well aware of at this stage, not even the hardcore fans necessarily, there have been many recuts and various special editions over the years of the original Star Wars trilogy. In the past 20 years alone, we've seen the 1995 VHS digitally remastered versions that came out around about the time as widescreen, or letterbox as it was also known, formats were picking up. As far as I'm concerned, these were basically the same cuts as we'd seen before in theatres. I'll get to those later on in this video though. Just to put this in context, 2 years after the release of those videotapes in 1995, so 1997 now, we saw the theatrical re-release of the original trilogy to coincide with the 20th anniversary of the release of the original Star Wars film from 1977. It was also to further up heat of the anticipation of the prequels that would begin getting released in summer of 1999. At this point it was 2 years away from then, in case you can't do the math. Now, the 1997 special editions that they released at cinemas were certainly interesting. They included rarely seen footage, and of course, as the trailers for these stated, an entire generation, including myself being 15 at the time, had only ever experienced Star Wars on the TV. Well, let's see that trailer, it pretty much sums it up.
For an entire generation, people have experienced Star Wars the only way it's been possible, on the TV screen. But if you've only seen it this way, you haven't seen it at all.
Now, for its 20th anniversary, the adventure of a lifetime returns to the big screen in a way you've never seen before.
There'll be no one to stop us this time.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
With newly enhanced visual effects,
They're coming in too fast!
THX and digital sound, and a few new surprises.
So those films had a lot of changes, but most were welcomed by fans. But then again, the whole Greedo shooting first thing, it was just stupid. In case you don't know what that means, let's just see it here. Now, this was the original scene. Greedo, the green chap holding the gun on Han Solo, played by Harrison Ford, here, originally threatens Han Solo. Han Solo, some might say, cold-bloodedly blows him away with a blaster pistol under the table. You can kind of see where he was coming from, but see the scene here for yourself.
Yes, I bet you have.
It was so cool. In this world of wizards and magic, we also had concepts that would be more suited in a western, which is exactly what made Han Solo so badass and cool in these films. But no, George Lucas decided, bollocks to that. We're going to water that side of his character down. Well, you can see for yourself what they did in the 1997 versions here.
Yes, I bet you have.
What the hell just happened? That was my reaction back in 1997. Did they just play it again? Greedo's blaster fires off at Solo, which never happened in the original cut, only he misses Solo and hits the wall. Why? I mean, was it an accident? Did he mean to fire it? Did his gun just go off? And Han Solo's head moves to the side in like a really bad CGI effect. What the hell? Oh, and then he shot Greedo. Great. Ugh. So that was rubbish, but the other changes were good in the 1997 special edition. They released all 3 films with various changes and addendums, additions, kind of thing, released in theatres. I think it was in the late winter of 1997 from memory. I remember at the time I was about 16. I was doing my GCSEs in my last year at school. Happy times. Anyway, they changed the music from the end scene of Return of the Jedi, which was, in my opinion, an improvement. Let's just have a quick look at that just to see what they did. This is the original version. Okay, so this is the original ending from the original 1983 Return of the Jedi. The music's really cheesy. It feels more like it's the Ewoks celebrating their victory over the Empire than the bigger picture kind of thing. So this was, for the most part, what we had up till 1997. So this is the 1997 version now. The music was a big improvement in my opinion. They got the guy, John Williams, that did the score to the original films to do this as well. So I just think this was a lot better and a definite improvement. Then in October 1997, the special edition films got a VHS video release, so this was a few months after we saw them in cinemas. Now, following this, there was a DVD release in 2004, which fans waited quite a few years to get because this was the first DVD release of the Star Wars films, so it was quite welcomed. And there was a Blu-ray release later on in 2011. Now, each time they've re-released things, they've changed more things, and it's seldom been for the better. We kind of cover those in our earlier reviews that we did back in November, so I'd recommend you look at that. So anyway, that was just to kind of put this in context to me. Let's now look at the pre-1997 versions that you can only own on VHS videotape format.
So this is what I'm talking about basically. This is the pre-1997 special edition version. Now, we did cover those in our review that we did. Me and Core reviewed the Star Wars films back in November 2013, and we covered a lot of the different versions, but we didn't really go that far back. I think the earliest we went back to was the 1997 videotape release, which was a special edition. That was the first special edition that they released. Now, I know that they had kind of altered things like before that as well, but that was the first time that he really, in a massive way, edited these. So the versions that we're seeing here are videotape only. You can't buy these versions on DVD or Blu-ray. They've just never been released, which is really sad because a lot of fans are very unhappy with the changes that they made. Now, I picked these up at a car boot sale, so you can get these online as well. I mean, I picked these up very cheap at a car boot sale. I think they were like 50 pence each. So 3 films, £1.50, pretty good bargain to be honest. Now, I only really own these for nostalgia purposes. As frustrating as it is having the DVD and the Blu-ray versions messed with, I would probably watch those even though they've got all the horrible changes in them, just because the majority of the film is in much better quality. I don't know if you can really make it out, but the actual quality on videotape is really bad. I mean, this used to be the norm back in the day, but growing up with these kind of things, I would have watched this and not seen a problem with it. I'd have been happy watching this, but now it's just terrible. It's like watching a TV with greaseproof paper over the top of it. The picture is just so kind of blurry and just distorted. Especially with a big TV as well. When you've got a very clear TV, it enhances the picture, but when you've got a videotape, it just enhances the horrible blurriness of it. That's the way it feels to me anyway. But anyway, these are the ones that I've got. Various different editions. They're not all the same collection. There were some that came out. I think these are the last ones to ever get released. I think it was 95 when these were released, and they had this kind of widescreen thing at the bottom. Now, it was a novelty having something in widescreen back then because most TVs were actually square. So if you were watching this, you'd have really big black bars across the screen, like kind of thing. But with a widescreen TV, it kind of fits better. But so you want these on widescreen. If you are going to get these on tape, I would recommend you get them in widescreen, because I know one of the DVD versions of Star Wars, you can get the pre-97 versions, but they are square. They're 4.3 aspect ratio, so they only kind of go up part of the way on your screen, and the picture quality is terrible as well. Pretty much like these, but these are in widescreen. Now, like I say, I don't know if there's any kind of bootleg versions out there. I honestly don't. I would be interested to know that, just to kind of throw that out, I guess. But I'd probably get in trouble if I was to kind of point anyone in the right direction. But for now, legitimately, these are kind of the things that you can earn. I don't know if these are in the shop, but as I say, these are the versions that I've got. Sound quality wise, it's kind of hard to really rig this up through my surround sound system because my old video player can't connect to this. So if I'm going to play it, the sound just kind of comes through the actual TV itself.
I want to know what happened to the plans they sent you.
Sound quality wise, I'm sure you can't really appreciate it from watching the video, but there's like a constant like noise coming through as well. I mean, it's not very loud, but you can hear it, and that was just the norm. That was videotapes back then. So, well, when it's enhanced by good speakers, that's what you can kind of pick up. It's a bit of a shame, but anyway, that's pretty much my thoughts on these videotapes. I don't know if they're going to release these on DVD at any stage. Now, somebody came up with a pretty good theory that now that Disney has bought the rights to Star Wars, and they're obviously doing the future films, the episodes 7, 8 and 9, there's a possibility that they may release the pre-1997, pre-special edition versions of Star Wars without the nasty changes that they made, without Greedo shooting first, without Hayden Christensen's head at the end of Return of the Jedi, without all that. There's probably more of a chance now of that happening than there was before Disney took them over, because it was really George Lucas and his just trying to make a point and just trying to prove himself as a filmmaker or whatever his agenda, money as well, for re-releasing these. There's more of a chance, I think, as well, that now that Disney is kind of on board, if there's enough of a demand for it, which there is quite a demand for it, to release those pre-special edition versions on DVD or Blu-ray, preferably Blu-ray, so that it's in good quality and the actual films themselves haven't been messed with. You can have the definitive Star Wars viewing experience, which is what we want, because as it stands right now, you get it on Blu-ray and the quality is very good, but they've messed with a lot of the scenes and it's just kind of ruined it. So the only other option is to watch the unamended versions on videotape, which again is not an attractive prospect because just no. So that's pretty much my little addendum to the Star Wars reviews that we did back in November anyway. So you can see them at brandxreviews.com. And I think there's an expanded universe video as well that the core did, talking about role playing and stuff. So if you're into Star Wars and you're interested to see like the different versions there are and like what they are and all that kind of thing, definitely go to brandxreviews.com and check those out. So yeah, basically I hope that kind of sums things up. And I've got a friend called Anthony who hasn't really seen the Star Wars films, so Anthony, if you're watching this, I hope it made sense, because I've tried explaining it. It's really hard because of all the different versions that there are out there, but that's basically it anyway. We're just hoping that they do get released on DVD in the original format. Like I say, now that Disney own the rights, there's maybe a slightly higher chance of that happening, but we will see. Time will tell anyway. So if you want to see those original Star Wars reviews that we did back in November, go to brandxreviews.com. There's plenty of other reviews up there, and we're also going to be covering developments on the upcoming sequels, so that will be episodes 7, 8 and 9. I'm really glad that George Lucas isn't involved in these anymore, because he pretty much ruined the franchise in a lot of fans' opinions, mine included, with the prequels. So now that we've got J.J. Abrams directing, and I think it's Lawrence Kasdan who originally wrote the original Empire Strikes Back film, which is one of the best in my opinion. Most people's opinions, I think they say it's one of the best. So the guy that wrote that is basically writing these new films. And of course you've got the original cast as well. Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher and Harrison Ford reprising their roles, which they weren't in the prequel. So I think give these sequels a chance. I'm not hugely excited. I'm more interested and intrigued than excited, just because of the letdown of the prequels. But I've ranted all about that in my other videos, so if you want to see me ranting about that, go to the other videos. I'm not going to do it here. But like I say, we will be covering the developments of that at the website as and when. So if you check back, like I say, at brandxreviews.com, and we will see you next time. Thank you very much for watching.